Welcome back, everybody, to the Nosebleeds podcast. I'm Chris Witt, and with me, as always, is Mr. Adam Schmidt. Adam, how are you today, sir?
I'm really fantastic. How
I
about
love it.
yourself?
I'm really fantastic's good. What do we? We're like on a 2 week hiatus or 1 week,
Uh,
week and a
y-
half.
w- uh, yeah, maybe two. I think the 14th is the last time we did one.
Oh
So
wow,
we're two
yeah, we're
weeks.
two
I think
weeks
we
in.
I think we recorded two episodes in December.
Wow, only two
Mhm.
in December.
Yeah.
Man, not getting our money's worth on all the platforms that we pay for.
Look, it's the holidays, man. There's a
It's
lot
tough.
going
It's
on.
tough. It's tough. Happens, and of course the holidays fell this year on a
In
uh
the middle of the week.
on a Wednesday. They were
Yep.
all both on Wednesdays. New Year's Day was on Wednesday. Christmas Day was on Wednesday. That's when we usually do the podcast. Today we are doing it on Thursday, January. What are we, second today?
hmm
January 2nd. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
When is it okay to stop when you first see somebody in January to say when is it done? When do you like how many days go by before when I see somebody for the first time I don't have to say Happy New Year?
Right now.
Really?
Yep.
I figure I listening to the radio today, and the radio show I was listening to. I'm going to do my best not to constantly talk about the radio show that I watch all the time, even though Dan Patrick's awesome.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's all
uh,
right. You can talk about it.
they came up with the fifth.
The fifth.
The fifth.
What's the
If you
rationale there?
first time, I have no idea.
Oh,
To be honest with you, I was at
it's just
a lumber yard and I got in on the end of it. And,
okay.
and the rationale was that the fifth was the day they decided after the fifth,
Mhm.
the first time you see somebody since before the new year, you do not have to say New Year's.
I Happy New Year doesn't matter to me at all. If anybody that wants to use it as a, clean slate thing or whatever, you want to start good habit, whatever it is you want to use that for is fine. I don't care.
Yeah,
It's just the next month also. I mean, it's
it's
the
so.
next year. It's the next days in your life like every other day is really, but
What do you
you know,
do for New Year's? What do you do for New Year's? Anything at all?
here's what I did this year.
Okay, let's hear it.
And then I want to hear yours. I went to a mid-afternoon Pacers game
I did see that.
in
Yeah.
Indianapolis.
Yep. Yep.
I was home. It was great that it was that time because I was home by 8 o'clock
Nice.
with a big thing of ice cream, and I sat on my couch and watched television for the rest of that night.
Did you watch the New Year's like Dick Van Dyke, Ryan Seacrest stuff?
I did
Or
not watch Dick Van Dyke. I did not watch Ed McMahon. I did not watch.
I mean, they're all dead, but
Yeah, I did not watch any of the dead guys.
did you watch the Seacrest or any New Year's on the any stations?
I didn't.
Nothing.
They just don't have anything I care about. I feel like I
I'm
don't
fine
know.
with that.
You know?
I enjoy those things.
Sure.
I really do. I really do. I don't know why I enjoy them, but I do. And like when all of a sudden, like I was watching one and Ja Rule came out, Fat Joe, Too Short, like boom, 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 boom. I was like, let's go.
Mm,
None of them sang a full song. They all sang the chorus of one song.
sure.
And then like the next person kept walking up and I was like, here we go.
Those guys are all in their late 70s now. They
Yeah.
can't do a whole song.
I just haven't well, Too Short might be.
Yeah.
But I can't I didn't watch a ton of it. This year I did we went to one of the families on the baseball team, because that's just where we are, I guess, in life, where you just, you
Yeah.
hang out there are, the people that we hang out with the most. So they're the friends that we hung out with for New Year's. Great time. Had a good time. We had the Xavier game before that.
hmm
Xavier played it too. Got a huge win over Seton Hall. Beat the brakes off of Seton Hall. Never a game from the first 3 minutes in.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun to watch, see them actually handle somebody instead of having these one score games against top 25 teams, which is brutal to lose three straight one score top 25 team games.
Yeah.
But it shows you can play with anybody. So, you just got to turn a corner. You right December and January, or December and January, you want to play good when February is where you need to play well.
Georgetown's off to a good start. You guys got them tomorrow.
Yep. At
Be a good one.
Georgetown. So
Yeah.
that'll be something
Good
different.
test. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, we did that. Yep. Hung out over there. And yeah, I like to see all the ball drops though. I want
Yeah.
to see the music note drop in Nashville for Central Time at 1 o'clock. I want to see Mountain Time. I want to see Pacific time out in Hollywood. That's what I want to do. Everybody's usually gone by like 12:30,
Mm.
and then I'm wherever I'm at. I'm not leaving until like 3:30.
Staying up till 3 for
Yeah,
that
I
West
stay and
Coast.
watch all of it, man. Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
yeah, I watch all the drops. I enjoy it. I don't know why I enjoy it so much. I don't
Mhm.
know why.
You're a festive guy, I feel like.
Maybe that's it. I don't know. I also like buying 2 bottles of champagne. One, split that up with everybody, and then one I pop at midnight, and then I'm Lil John for the rest of the night. You
That's your own champagne bottle, straight from the bottle.
From one to whenever it lasts. Till.
Gotcha.
So anyway, yeah, yeah. So good time. Before we get too much deeper into what all we're gonna do here, something really exciting is going down.
Yay.
And I want to get to that. Kind of, we didn't talk about it. I didn't want to say anything until we got here. But as we talk about it, let's get our Reese's going. This week's Reese's is from Mary Witt, my mom, Aunt Mary. Thank you so much. We got To the Nosebleeds podcast, 2 Reese's mugs, 2 boxes of Reese's pieces, one pack of regular Reese cups. We can split those, or you could just have them.
Arm
But
wrestle. Arm wrestle, thumb wrestle.
what I'm really looking forward to. This is what we'll try here today. Is a piece of Santa Claus. It's the size of when you get your chocolate bunnies,
Yeah.
but you know that this is not hollow inside.
No way. Not from Reese's.
Not when it says Reese's Santa, milk chocolate and peanut butter, and all I see is milk chocolate. That means inside has got to be a peanut butter.
God, I hope so. I hope that whole thing. I hope it's not like mostly chocolate with a little peanut butter. I hope it's like the outer crust
Oh,
of chocolate and
yeah.
mostly peanut. That's gonna be unbelievable.
It's gonna be so good. So,
And
go ahead.
I don't want to. I don't want to like ruin doing this while you're saying your exciting thing. But I also brought something Reese's that I saw a while ago.
Okay,
And I'm so eager to get this out of the way
let's do
that
it.
I almost want to do it first because
Let's do it.
I
No,
think it might there's a chance that it's going to be the worst thing we've ever had.
that's awesome. Let's do
And
it.
I want to we know
The
this is going
toffee,
to be really good.
nasty toffee thing that we had 2 weeks ago was pretty bad.
Okay, this might be worse.
I think I
okay?
gave that like a 4 or 5
You
or
did.
something.
I think it was your lowest score ever. All right. I don't know. I'm not 100%. I think I know. I feel like you don't like this certain thing that it's
Surrounded with. I get you. I get you.
okay.
Let's kick to it. Should I start talking about what I want to talk about, or are we just gonna? Let's just do this.
This you're gonna have to yeah. So this is
Sorry.
gosh.
Sorry about
Bless
that. All
you.
right. Coming to's on my
Reese's
oh.
frozen banana slices. Okay. Frozen banana slices. Let's just get these over with really quick. Okay. just take a stupid banana slice, Okay. I'm gonna read this. So this is sliced bananas enrobed in milk chocolate and Reese's peanut butter chips. Okay?
Okay.
Yep, let's just do it. You know what? Yeah. Okay. I mean, I just already Oh, wait, I was gonna say this before. Am I right in saying that you can't stand bananas?
I hate bananas.
That's what I
I
thought.
hate bananas. Just look at where I took this bite.
Ah,
Do you see how much peanut butter there is? Look close. There's almost no peanut butter in this thing.
yeah, I can't even tell.
So much banana. It's better frozen. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure.
And covered in chocolate.
Yes. And of course, you can't talk about frozen bananas without talking about the Mitch Hedberg joke. My friend asked me if I wanted a frozen banana. I said no, but I want a regular banana later. So yeah. So anyway, that's frozen bananas. They're gonna go bad for the rest of the time, and I'll just throw them away. We got that out of the way.
Well, let's rate it now. Let's rate it. That's not what this is. Those were better than the toffee nastiness that we chose. I'm gonna give this. I could eat another one of these and it wouldn't kill me. I think the frozen banana part of it helped it.
You're absolutely right.
I think that helped it. And covered in chocolate almost gives it like a somewhat of an ice creamy kind of feel.
Yeah.
When you bite into it.
You're right.
I don't like banana flavored ice cream. And I wouldn't buy these ever.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give it a straight 6.2.
Straight 6.2 even, huh? Okay.
On the money.
I'm gonna go 8.0.
8 point. Okay, that's still pretty low.
That's yeah,
That's low.
that's very low for me. All right. And then
All right, so
let's move on to your exciting thing,
this is really exciting for me.
and we can do the same.
And I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this or not, but I'm going to try like crazy to make it work. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is pretty special. This is a special moment in the Nosebleeds podcast, in the history, in the 5, 6, 7. I don't even know how long we've been doing this now. How many episodes are we on?
It's like two. I don't know.
Okay.
Two.
We're past 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
In the 6 years of this, almost 6 years of this we'll say almost 6 years of this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Probably 3/4 of it.
My bad. This is episode 312.
312. So just if we actually did it every single week, 312 divided by 52, that's 6 years exactly. That's exactly 6 years.
Wow.
We've done 6 years of the podcast today,
Of just episodes.
which is probably like 6.5 years in all honesty.
At least. Yeah.
At least. Man, that's a long time, dude. We've been doing this for a long time. All these,
I would say in March it'll probably be like 7 years.
that'll probably be
right?
yeah,
'Cause that's
right
when we
at
started.
Yep, we started back up
Sort of.
March. Yeah, right before the tournament. So
Mhm.
middle to end of March.
Yeah.
Okay. Since then, 3/4 of that time, I bet four. We did it during COVID, and that was 4 years ago.
Mhm.
So for
From
four,
the safety of our own
4 to 5, yeah, 4 to 5 years ago,
Mhm.
5 years ago, maybe even longer, we started doing our very last segment of every podcast. That probably is the least listened to part of the podcast because it's 2 hours later.
Yeah.
But it's our comedy segment.
Mhm.
Ladies and gentlemen, on Saturday, January 11th,
Oh God.
2025, we're talking a week and a couple days. Week and 2 days. Adam Schmidt will be performing live at the Cincinnati Funny Bone in Liberty Township. Congratulations to this is the comedy graduation show for Adam Schmidt, liberty.funnybone.com. In the bio underneath this podcast, there will be a link for you to buy tickets.
Well,
No, there will
I'm
be.
the one that
I know you are. I know you are. And you will put a link. And if you don't,
Yeah.
I will go into the comments of every platform we're on. I mean, every single one. And we're on every platform you can listen to. I'll go into the comments of everyone and post it.
Okay.
So just put it into the bio. It'll be nice and easy because you only got to do it in 3 places, I guess, if you include YouTube. So you got to do it in 3 places. I will go and do it in all 18 or 20 or whatever, how many it is, but I'll do it.
Okay.
Adam Schmidt is going to be performing live stand-up comedy. This is one of the coolest things I've ever heard. Doors open at 2:00. Show starts at 3. I got lots of questions.
Sure.
And I'm ready to. If you're comfortable with it, I'm gonna go. I mean, I've already put it out there. So
I'm extremely uncomfortable with it. So yes, let's talk about it.
let's be honest. Over the
If
last
you're
6 years,
stuck again.
over the last 6 years of this podcast, the best episodes are when Adam's slightly uncomfortable.
Sure. Sure.
So let's talk about what's going on. So you've been taking a little class,
Yeah.
a little Zoom. Is it a Zoom class? I assume
It is on Zoom, yes,
Oh.
because the instructor is in Virginia.
Okay, so is he coming in for this?
He is.
Wow. So you've done this Zoom class for a little while now.
It's about 8 weeks.
About 8 weeks, learning. It's just a stand-up comedy class.
Yes.
I assume it's a lot about forming jokes and time. I don't know how much timing there is, or if it's talking about what is the basis of it. Is it more like how to write a joke? Is it maybe it's all of it. Maybe it's timing. Maybe it's explaining what is your style, figuring out your style. Like what all goes into it.
So for the first 4 weeks of the class, we wrote jokes, right? And we had the first 3 weeks where there were 5 prompts 5 questions or whatever that you could choose from. You choose 3 out of the 5, and you write at least 2 jokes for each one of those that you chose,
Okay.
right? So at least 6 jokes each week for the first 4 weeks. And then the 4th week, you could write about anything you want.
Okay.
All right. So, and really, there wasn't a lot of this is the structure how you write a joke. Um, there was like write your jokes, bring them to class, tell them on the Zoom, and then I'm going to tell you which ones are good, which ones are bad, and then give you a little critique.
Okay.
Right? So that's really mostly what it was. And there were like little lessons at the end of each class after everybody went through their sets, and a lot of stuff about like how to host the show, what to do on make sure you put the microphone stand behind you, little things like make sure you kind of cover the whole stage so you're talking to all the parts of the audience. And when you go to the left side of the stage, hold the microphone in your right hand with your left hand like open and like you're speaking to the little stuff like that. But most of it was write a joke and he tells us what's good and what's not.
Okay.
Okay. And it's there weren't a lot of laughs in any of the things, right? So
Well, everybody's probably muted.
everybody's muted, but you can see I made the mistake. So he always sends us the recording after the class.
Okay.
So
You can go back and
I
watch
made the
everybody.
mistake of after the first week going back and watching my set and watching the reactions, and there was absolutely no reaction. So um,
Yeah, because everybody was as nervous as you looking at their paper, figuring out if they got their stuff down. Nobody's even listening.
maybe, but also it's a different environment. Like jokes are gonna work different ways in the club
Oh,
than
yeah.
than
People
a
are at a
theater.
comedy club to laugh.
Yeah,
They're
yes.
there to laugh.
That's right. And so anyway, so he did tell us that he's and because to be honest, like at almost all of my jokes at this point that he had me keep for the show, I don't like them anymore. And some of them I didn't even really like in the beginning. So I don't like them. And other people were saying that other people were trying to like change their sets after he told them what to keep. And he's like, guys, I'm telling you, I'm telling you what's going to work in the club. He said some of the stuff you don't feel like you're getting laughs now, and you're not. And if you just tell like your neighbor or your friend the jokes, they might not get laughs. In the club, it's different. I know what works in these clubs. He works for a bunch of different funny bones, and he's been a comedian for like 15 years. Anyway, so we kind of just have to trust him. And it's tough because I don't, like I said, I don't like a lot of my jokes. I don't think they're that funny. But so
And most comedians, when they write a joke, they try them out in a club. They're
Right.
not trying them out to a Zoom call, right? So
That's right.
so they get immediate feedback on if it's gonna do something or not.
Yes.
Whereas you guys don't get any feedback until you get there.
Right. So our next class next Wednesday is the first in-person class. It's the last class before our show.
Okay.
So we're going there, and in front of the class, we're going to do our set.
Okay.
By that time, we have to have it memorized. I have
Mhm.
all my jokes memorized, and I'm kind of messing with the
Tweaking the timing and all
different,
that.
yeah, yeah, and the inflections and different things and pauses and that kind of thing. But that's kind of just up to me. That's just up to me to try to do it how I think is going to be funny. And then, if I do it that way in class, he might be like, well, say it this way or
Yeah.
pause a little longer or whatever. But anyway, so that's mostly what the class was writing the jokes and then little lessons here and there about different things about what to do on stage and never leave the stage empty, unless you're a headliner and you're finished. But like, as a host, as a middle,
You got to get up there at the end of it, walk up, take the mic, say thank you.
and you announce the next comedian, and then you don't leave the stage until they get there. And I'm sure you've seen shows where somebody like says, "Okay, your next comedian is on this and this and this, so and so,"
Yeah.
and then it's like 60 seconds before they
Yeah.
get up there, and the guy's just sitting there like,
Yeah. All right. Well, you coming, bud?
"Yeah, what's going on?" So anyway, just little lessons like that,
Okay.
and so that's it. That's where we're at. And boy, I tell you, I I wanted to do this at all was a huge leap for me,
Yeah,
and I don't want to do comedy in front of anyone. Um, but this is just like something fun, and I don't plan to like start a career in comedy or anything like that. This was just fun because you know how much I love stand-up comedy, and I just thought it
absolutely.
would be cool. So, but now I realize that I have to perform in front of an audience.
Did you not know that going into this?
I didn't really I didn't know it was going to be like open to the public, get as many people there as you can. And so
Like it's y'all's job to fill the comedy show.
that was the biggest thing for me. So once that all started coming to, I came to the realization that was what we had to do. I started immediately having the plan. For a little bit, I was like, maybe I'll just take this class until that show and then just not go. Just I can't make it or whatever, right? Because I'm just too nervous to get up in front of people with a microphone on a stage, and I don't like walking into a comedy show and sitting up front. I
Where
told you the
where the
story.
people see you, just where people see you walking in,
Yes.
whether the show started or not. You don't want
I
everybody
don't,
seeing you
yes.
walk in.
I feel like eyes are always on me for some reason, and I hate that. So
Well, now you don't have to think.
I just know that no matter what, everybody's gonna look at me.
But that's cool, man. It's cool. This
Thank you.
is we talk we've so 6 years is a long time.
Hmm.
And like just seeing that on my calculator when I did that divided by 52, 6 years is a long time. Super cool to see how far this has come. Like
Hmm.
if you would have told me Adam Schmidt's going to stand up at a comedy show and done an open mic or something, I'd say you're crazy. No, number one, it's not an open mic. Like you're not just choosing to do this. That's part of the class is what you're doing.
Hmm.
But I've seen you come out of and talk about not always on the podcast, sometimes on the podcast, sometimes off about doing something purposely because you know you're uncomfortable with it
Yep.
and you've been forcing yourself to do a lot of uncomfortable things.
Hmm.
And I'm excited for you, man.
Thank you.
That's really cool. I hope there are a ton of here's the deal, the more people you know there,
Hmm.
the better it's going to be because people are going to laugh for you.
So I was thinking of it totally the opposite. I thought I I know I'm gonna have to do this, but I don't want anybody I know to see me do this.
Nah.
I feel like that's more pressure.
It
That's more embarrassment.
you-
That's really the
I
way I was
get
looking at it.
I get that.
And so my plan was to just not tell anybody about it, and you know that,
Uh-huh.
um and so
How many people before you found out you had to sell for a show?
Mhm.
How many people knew you were taking this class?
it ended up coming up a decent amount. So maybe 10 people or 12 people or something
How
like
many
that.
friends do you have on Facebook?
Probably at least 20,
Oh,
22.
shut up.
Okay.
I'll go back. Done. I
I don't
got you
know,
pulled up
whatever
right
it is,
now.
100 something,
You know
200
what my
whatever.
point is. You know what my point is.
So
My point is 10 to 12 people knew about this. You've got 400 friends on social media,
mhm.
and I haven't liked it, so I can add all the people. Uh, and now I liked it, so it should pop up on the nosebleeds, right? If I like it,
uh
I don't know how that works.
I don't know that it'll be like on the
All
feed,
right, we'll have to share it.
but so
So anyway, my point is,
yeah.
like, I knew it, and maybe 10 other people knew it, and then you find out you got to do this. Now you put it on your Facebook. You go out there. You've got a lot of supporters. This is legit, real deal, man. This is.
It's
I
a real
think
deal.
that it is going to be more. I think you're going to get more laughs. You might be a little more embarrassed, but the amount of people that are coming there for you, they all know you. Those people that are there, they know who you are, the type of person you are. It's 100% support.
Yeah.
They're going to be there for you, laugh, tell you amazing things. It's going to be all great.
There'll be a lot
That's
of
the coolest
people
part about
that'll
it.
be there to lie afterward and tell me that it was good.
Well,
It was,
I don't care if it's a lie or not. It
uh,
is what it is. There's going to be something good that came out of it. You're going to have a good joke in there, and people are going to say something about how long is it? How long is it?
So my set's going to be probably, he timed it. He said it would be somewhere between like 6 and 8 minutes.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. How many people are in your class?
There was, I think a couple people ended up dropping out, but we have about nine, I think. And there might be one or two people that are only doing the Dayton show.
Okay.
So
Are
we
you
might
doing
have
two
7 or
shows?
8. No, no, I'm not doing the Dayton show. I could have.
When is the Dayton show?
It's the ninth.
Oh, that sucks.
I've already told everybody about the 11th. So if I was doing the Dayton show, I would just tell everybody about that one too
Well,
at this point. But
my point
I'm
is if the Dayton show was the 11th, could you have signed up like after you did the ninth, been like, okay, I got this. I'll go up there and do it again.
um I don't know. I don't know if I could have done that or not
Yeah.
because they
You've
plan. I
already
don't
had to
know.
sign up and they've got the lineup and all that stuff.
Yeah, I guess
Could
so.
you sign up for Dayton right now?
I don't. I mean, if I told him like, "Hey, I've got some," that's the big thing is if you have people that are going to come out and see you, that's when he's okay with you doing both shows. So I would have to say, yes, I've got people that are coming out to see me in Dayton, and then
How
I
many
think he
people
would
do
let
you
me do
need?
it. Oh, I don't know.
How can I talk you into doing the ninth?
I don't want to do. It's
The ninth is a
that's a
Thursday.
Thursday. Yeah,
How do I talk you into doing Thursday then?
we got practice, so I can't.
You're the assistant coach. I have practice. I'll have my head coach. I'll have my assistant coach do it.
No. No, I don't want to do because the 8th is our class that I've got to go up there for. I don't want to go up for that on the 8th and then up to Dayton for the 9th and then back to Liberty
So
on the 11th.
Dayton, you're open. You're in front of your class thing is in Dayton.
No, that's at Cincinnati.
That's in
That's
Cincinnati.
at Liberty, yeah.
Okay, and then okay, so I feel like I'd be happy to gift you a night in a hotel room if it made you do that. It's free for
It
me. It
would.
wouldn't cost me anything.
It would. No.
I'm not saying I would put it out like I'm paying for that. I'm saying I can do it for free. I've got enough points. It would be super easy.
It's bad enough that I have to do it on the 11th.
Because I feel like I could get 10 to 15 people probably to go on Thursday.
Wow. Um,
I know maybe not
Thank
10 to
you.
15. I act like I could do that, but
Mhm.
I don't know if I could. But I know that I could get five. Is that enough?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure it would be. If I told him, yeah, I've got some people that are going to come out and see me in Dayton. I don't want to do the Dayton show. I so
Are
I'll
you
tell you
getting a
this
cut
quickly.
of
No,
of
there's
the
no.
room?
I paid for this. No,
Yeah,
I
so you
paid for
should
this
get a
class.
cut of the room. You're
No,
filling the room up.
I so I'll tell you this story. That's a big thing, a huge thing. So he's talked for the last 4 or 5 weeks about how important it is to promote the show.
Yeah.
And the whole time I'm like, okay, I understand. And he's talking about, so it is up to you to bring people out because you need a good crowd in the room. And so you're responsible for bringing that. And so he said he's got a person that makes these flyers, okay, like promotional flyers. And he said, I need you guys to send me your picture that so that I can have this person make a flyer. They're really good. They look nice and everything. And he said, and if I have her do this, this costs me money. If I have her do this, you have to use it. You have to promote the show. At first, I wasn't going to send a picture, so because I didn't want a flyer because I didn't want to promote it.
Yeah.
And then so he kind of was like, guys, make sure, please send me your flyers. You got to promote this thing. You have to
Yeah.
promote it. It's important for your classmates and it's important for me. I hate when we do this and people don't promote it. It's the worst. So I start feeling the pressure from him. So I send him a picture. They do the flyer. It looks nice and everything. Like, okay,
Is that what's on the face tube?
yes.
Yeah.
So, but I'm like, I still don't want to put this out there. I don't want to promote it. And so I so last week, this past week, we did it on a Sunday because it's usually on Wednesday and it was New Year's Day or whatever. So we did it on Sunday, and we had to have our family Christmas that day because my brother's family
Sure.
was sick and
Yep.
all this stuff. So anyway, so I texted him and I said, I'm not going to be able to make it to the class, which wasn't a big deal because all we were doing was going over our set again,
Yeah.
which we had already done the week before anyway. So I said, I hope it's not a big deal. I'm going to have to miss this class. And he messaged me back and said, okay, just make sure, no problem. Just make sure you promote the show. And I messaged him back. I'm like, yeah, I have to admit, I'm really, really nervous to promote the show. I'm really nervous to have anybody I know there. So he didn't get back to me. Okay. And 2 days ago he calls me and he go or was this might have been yeah, this was 2 days ago. He calls me and he's like, hey Adam, um, hey man, I just want to talk to you. And he said a bunch of very encouraging things and tried to like boost me up and make me feel like I can do this and all that,
Sure.
which was nice.
And part of his job as a teacher.
Yeah. And so he did that, but then also he was like, man, he almost said it really pisses me off when people don't use these but he was like, man, it really when people don't use these things, man, it really he's like it's just not, I just really it just bothers me a little bit when people don't
How
use
much
the
did he
flyers. And
pay for these flyers?
I don't know, but
I could have had Aaron made
I
you
was
a
gonna say,
flyer.
yeah, I
It's
could
like
figure out how to do it.
Aaron does that stuff all the time for people.
Yeah. But anyway, it was just the um he's like, it's important. He's like, a couple people already have a lot of people coming from the class,
hmm
and he's like, it's this is what you have to do. This is part of it. You got to bring as many people out as you can. And so it was really the more than that. Again, he's like, man, you're gonna disappoint people once people find out that you did that.
That's no joke.
And he's like you're people are gonna say, oh, why didn't you tell me? I would have
hmm
come. And for me, I'm like, okay, for the people I know, yes, I don't want to disappoint. I'm a very people
Yeah,
pleaser. I'm like, I don't want to disappoint them. But that's I I'm gonna accept that to protect myself
100%. I
and
get you.
not be
Yeah.
extra embarrassed about this. And so, but it was not wanting to let him or the other people in my class down,
hmm
mostly. And also, what I didn't tell him was it was crazy. For like 3 days, I didn't look at my set because I'm supposed to be like rehearsing this and
Yeah.
trying to memorize it. I didn't look at it for like 3 days. About 2 minutes before he called me, I opened my notes, my set, and I started reading through it. So I was reading through like my third joke when he called me.
Are you
It was
serious?
it was crazy timing. So I got off the phone and I'm like, all right. So
Yeah.
I don't want to let all these people down. And also that was kind of crazy. It could be a coincidence or it could be some,
Yeah.
the universe saying you have to
Mitzvah
do
or
this.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so I was like, okay, I guess I know I have to. So anyway, I put that out there and then it's by far the most reaction from any post on any social media I've ever gotten. Immediately, all the people that I haven't spoken with in a decade
Yeah.
have reached out.
Talking about like I went and looked at the comments on it. People I've never even heard of on that.
People I went to grade school,
They're like, oh my god, if I didn't have this going on, I would be there.
and a lot of
That's how many
people have
people want
already
to support you.
and a lot of people have already said, I already got my tickets. I'm
Yeah.
definitely going. People I worked with a long time ago, people I went to grade
Yeah.
school with. I'm like, this is exactly what I didn't want. This is why I wasn't going to promote it. But
You know, it's
it was
supportive, man. That's support, man.
yes,
That is
and
support.
I appreciate it so much. I hope that I hope I can hide before I do my set, get on stage, do it, not actually like look around, but not actually look at
Well,
anybody,
you can't see
and then see
comedians talk
everybody
all the
after.
time. It's not easy to see the crowd with the lighting and everything. Like it's not easy to see the crowd, right?
It's not easy to see the back.
I mean, like
There's
outside of guys that are like wanting to do that kind of stuff, just
Mhm.
look at the back then.
Yeah,
Look at what's
that's
hard.
what I mean. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what I would.
If
That's what
that's
I'm.
the hardest thing to see, just look back there.
Yeah. So that's what I think. That's what I'm going to try to do anyway. But I know if all these people that are saying they're going to be there, there's going to be a lot of people there, and I will be very, very nervous. And I'm thinking, and then I'm going through my jokes, and I'm like, I don't want to say that in front of that
You
person.
got to. No,
I
it is.
know.
No, man.
That's the whole idea.
Do it.
So yeah. So
How uncomfortable. I mean, you're not Nate Bargatze, right? There's only one Nate Bargatze that can say his jokes in front of his family, his wife's family, his great grandpa, his grandma, his cousin. There's only one Nate Bargatze, bud.
yeah.
Everybody else says a lot of things that they probably would never say in front of someone close to them.
Yes, and that by
in
the
an
way,
intimate setting.
yeah, that's part of it too. Was he was said, you guys can curse a little bit, but he's like, I don't want any like dirty jokes. He said everybody's got to work kind of mostly clean.
That's perfect. That's good. That forces you to actually work on your comedy,
Yes.
not just not a wow factor of this dude's dropping six F bombs and talking about sticking it to his whatever's whatever whoever's,
Yes,
right?
that's exactly what he said. You have to like get good at comedy, get good at writing jokes and being comfortable on stage before you like let loose and do your own thing. So that's that reason. But I would want to do that anyway, to be honest.
Oh, see, I would want to be clean,
That's what I mean.
but no. I know what you're
Oh
saying.
yeah,
I'm saying like I feel like I would want to be clean.
but it's restrictive. You're
It's
gonna
not that. That's not even what I'm saying.
okay.
I would want to be clean, and I feel like I want to be able to tell a joke that everybody can hear, and everybody's heard me talk about the things that I would. I mean, I'll talk about anything that'll make somebody uncomfortable. I don't care if it's around my grandma, my aunt. I don't care who it is. It makes people a little uncomfortable. I'll do it in a good way, right? Like just kind of, I toe the line. I don't step over, with people in the family.
Mhm.
Like, oh, that might have got a little sexual for Aunt Sue to listen to that little funny story, but who
Sure.
cares? It is what it is, poop or whatever. Anyway, my problem is as I get nervous, as I would get nervous up there,
Mhm.
I know I would drop an F bomb here or a holy what, and I would do that just because in my line of work when I'm out constantly all day, that's a big I'm not proud of it, but that's a big part of
The industry,
my
yeah.
speech, the way I talk every single day.
Mhm.
Like it's hard for me to hold back in front of the kids sometimes. Like I was playing NCAA 2K football and Parker was there and I said, "Man, this dude's there. They're whipping it." And I'm just said like three or four things I probably wouldn't have said if I wasn't into the game, not paying attention that he's right behind me. And he
Yeah.
goes, "Yeah, you're kicking the out of him." And I was like, "Boy, just because you didn't say the word in between doesn't mean I don't know what you were saying." Like but he's repeating what I said, right?
Sure. Yep.
So that's where I feel like that would be hard for me. I would want to be as clean, and I'll tell you can tell a good joke. Nate Bargatze does it all the time about you can get up there on the line and have some fun with a little bit of it, but I feel like that's so important to stay. There's no reason to drop F bombs and all that if you don't have to.
He said absolutely no F, N word, or C word.
I love it. Okay.
He said
Good.
avoid those three. Everything else we can,
You can work around.
negotiate or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah. Yeah.
Negotiate.
Yeah, whatever. We can let it go if you're not like too crazy with it. But
I like that.
anyway, so that's the whole thing. And I just can't wait to get past it now. As a matter of fact, we walk out of our game. We had a game tonight, right? And this guy I know that coaches one of the other teams up at the school. Um, we're walking. I walk out the door to go to my car, and he pulls up. I don't even see it. A van pulls up right by the door, and somebody goes, "Adam, I heard you're funny." And I look up, and it's this guy. And at first, it didn't click, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"What? I'm funny?" And then I'm like, "Oh." Because my Facebook friends with the
Yep.
guy
Yep.
that's what made it.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, uh, I said, I know what you're talking about. I'm not sure about that. I'll find out, I guess, or something like that. And
Yeah.
so anyway, but it's like that's already like the
Uh,
embarrassment of people saying something. Like I don't want anybody to know that I'm doing this.
but it's like everything else. If this turns into nothing, you've only got to worry about this for like 3 more weeks of your life.
One more week.
No, I'm
Really?
saying like, but the immediate aftermath,
Yeah,
you'll get questions and things like that.
that's true. Yeah,
Once that's wore off,
yeah,
it's just a funny story. It's just a funny story.
yeah.
There's no, you know what I mean? That all that stuff's gone. It's the whole. Will I be bothered by this in an hour? Will I be bothered by this in a day? Will I be
Mhm.
bothered by this in a week? Be bothered by this in a month? Be bothered by this in a year? That's how I had a guy tell me that's the way you figure out, and then you go to 10 years. That's how you figure out how upset you should be about something going on in your life right now.
Absolutely.
How upset are you right now? Is this going to really bother you in an hour? Is it going to bother you in a day? How much is it going to bother you in a week?
Mm-hmm.
So,
I've heard that.
I'm like, do it and take this a little bit of time. People are going to do and say whatever, and then it's over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or
So
maybe
yes,
not. Maybe you walk out there and kill.
it's I would be really surprised if that happened. But yeah, who knows? Who knows?
I'm so excited about this.
I can't wait to just get past it and then get past the after the show, everybody talking and stuff, and then I have tickets for the headliner show that night later that night at the
Oh,
Funny Bone.
really? Okay.
Stan Morrill is there. Yeah.
I just got,
I,
I just got cold chill.
I'll be,
That's no joke.
I,
You understand what's going to happen, right? Sam Morrill's going to find out there's this 2 o'clock open mic. Look, I ain't kidding with you.
If
My hair is standing on end
if
right
Sam
now.
Morrill is at that show, I will give you $75,000. He will not be there. I promise you that.
What else is he going to have to do?
Sit in his hotel room. That's way better than going and seeing people who are bad at comedy do comedy right before you have to go do comedy.
You're playing the fun. You're opening for Sam Morrill.
I'm not opening for him. You know what?
You're opening for Sam Morrill.
Here's the thing. I don't even know if we're going to be on the main stage because they have another stage like inside the door there, on the other side
I
of
know
the bar.
nothing about the Liberty one.
We
I've
might
never
just
been
be on the little stage up there. I don't know. I'm not sure if we're going to be on the big stage or not. But
How many seats does the little stage hold?
I don't know. I mean, not a ton, but it's there's the big bar there.
500?
Oh God, I would say like 50 maybe.
If you've got 9 people, 8 people that are doing a set, and they all bring 10 people, they're not going to fit in this place. They have to do it in the big room.
Yeah, in that case, then yes.
I mean, think about it, just
They have
10 people. That's it. Each person brings 10 people.
Mhm.
That's it. I know
That's
from
a lot. I mean, I don't know that everybody will bring 10 people. It seems like
I know
I'm gonna
from
bring
I've
10
already
people.
seen 10 people worth of tickets that people say they already got them.
I was kind of interested after everybody, commented and people were texting me and stuff too. And however, how many people said they were going to go or have already bought tickets. I wish I could know the numbers of tickets sold before that and
Yeah.
after that, if like, so that I knew how much.
Or if you had to put like
exactly.
a confirmation code, Adam or something in there,
Yeah,
you know
yeah.
what I mean? You buy it and you type in Adam, you get $1 off or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that's the reason they do those codes is so they can track where it comes from.
Yeah. But I don't know. Either way, I'm just gonna have to go and do it, and I'm gonna try to be as prepared as possible so that I'm not. I know I'm gonna be so nervous. Number one, my face is gonna be redder than it's just gonna look like blood is trying to burst out of my face the whole time, and also I'm gonna be
Who
like
cares?
stumbling and
Nah, know it left and right, backwards and forwards. And if you screw up, have something in your back pocket for if you stumble over something.
Yeah.
Have something in your back pocket to laugh at yourself. Make a little joke. Have something. I'm not a comedian teacher or anything like that. Like I don't know.
No.
I'm just saying like if you're in the middle of a joke and all of a sudden you black out and don't remember what you're gonna say, have something in the side like holy cow, I just pulled I don't know, Donald Trump or I don't know.
Adam Schmidt.
I feel like Donald Trump up here. Jeez, Pete, how's this dude do this every
I guess
day?
Joe Biden would make sense.
Yes. Oh my God, I just pulled a Joe Biden. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. I can't read the teleprompter. What was that joke again? Let's try this again, guys. You know what I mean? Yeah. If I stumble,
blame it on the teleprompter guy that doesn't.
Yeah. If I stumble off stage real quick and then walk back out like I don't know who I am, well, you guys just think that this was an old man thing like Biden? You know what I mean? Yeah, have something like that ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm so excited. So of course, I have 2 basketball games that day.
Yeah.
And I feel like one is like 2 hours before it and one is like 2 hours after.
Yep.
Because you know how life goes.
Yeah.
So on the 11th, we play at noon at Three Rivers. That's the boys. The girls are at 4. at Bridgetown Middle School.
I was gonna say if you're at like Lakota
Well,
East, you might be able to
then
go.
awesome.
But
I am thinking really strongly about finding out if the assistant guy, because he coaches his boy, he helps with his boys team as well, and find out if he's going to be there for that or not. Because
don't miss your game.
he is Rolfus's assistant coach at fourth or fifth grade, or
Hmm.
however old that is.
Okay.
Well, sorry to drop names on the podcast, but
Yeah.
what my point is
Johnny Rolfus.
my point is Coach Rolfus is an assistant on the boys high school basketball team. He could probably handle the game on his own
Yeah.
if that dude needs to come give me a hand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But don't do that. Just coach your game. It's lots of people
I
have
cannot
things to do already.
I cannot tell you how important this is, not just for you, but it is for me as well.
It's yeah. I will tell you they're supposed to be recording it. So
Okay. I mean,
you
that's
don't have to
fine.
be there.
I'll buy the recording as well.
You have to buy it. I'll have it.
I'm just telling you that I
Just
would
show
buy
to
it.
you.
I would buy it as well. But I don't know, man. This is kind of a cool thing. And it's not just the fact that you're going to do stand up, and we do stand up on this podcast every week. It's not just that. It's way
We
more.
talk about stand up.
Whatever. We talk about stand up on this. No, you've done 2
Oh yeah,
minutes. Have we both done
we've-
2 minutes of
we've
stand up?
both done it.
Yeah, we both have
Yeah.
done 2 minutes.
I don't even remember any of the jokes that either one of us.
Me neither. Me neither. I think mine had something to do with being scared to go downstairs in the basement when it's dark out.
Yeah.
I always
That's a good
think, I
premise. I
always
like
feel like I know. I always go back to that. Like, there's got to be a good joke about a grown man scared to go to his basement when you flip that light on and it turns on and clicks off because the light bulb died. And you're like, I got to get to the bottom of the steps. That's how my house is before I can hit any more lights down in his basement. Now it's all dark.
Yep.
That scares me to death.
And the hands come out from under the steps.
But I'm
It's
scared.
dark.
I am scared to death of the dark.
Yeah.
Scared to death of what I cannot see. Anyway, besides the point, I'm really proud of you, brother. This is a really cool moment. I hope and pray that everything goes well, and I also kind of hope and pray that it doesn't.
Listen, if everything goes perfect, I'm still going to be like just a nervous wreck filled with anxiety.
Did he give you guys like tips on that? I mean, you got a group of people.
Yeah.
Now, you also have a group of people that want to do comedy, right? Like, you don't pay for this class unless you want to do comedy.
Not everybody's doing. I think there are some other people that are like me that are just like
kind of wanted to see what this was all about, and yeah.
There are a couple people in the class that have done like open mics, a bunch of times before. And I don't know if they just decided to take this class to see if it makes them better or something like that.
Yeah.
But yes, so a few weeks ago, he said, okay, for next week, I want you guys to pick like an alter ego that you can go to help you with stage fright or whatever. And so he like gave a couple examples, and I think
The Miz.
yeah, sure. You
don't remember the Miz from the Real World?
Oh,
he's
no,
a wrestler now.
I know.
Because he became the Miz on the Real World. He went to this alter ego when this dude was trying to fight with him all the time. He went to this alter ego and turned that into a professional wrestling career.
I knew that he was a wrestler. I haven't watched it since he's been around, but he's been on, and I think at some point I found out that he was originally on the Real World, and I never saw that. But anyway, it was so yes. So I think Kobe might have even been one of the examples that he gave because he's like a killer and
the Mamba when Mamba
Yeah.
comes out, yeah.
So so the next week we had to have something like that, and it seemed like he liked mine the most, and I found out that he's a basketball fan too.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
I said, and I was like, I know I like keep making all these basketball references. Sorry, everybody, but the one that I chose is Tim Duncan. And before I could say another word, he goes off for like a minute straight. Oh my God, Tim Dunk. Oh my God. I mean, just like he's the best power forward in my opinion. He's the best power, and he just goes on and on. Now it has nothing to do with comedy or
Yeah.
so he goes. And so anyway, so he so
So then he was like,
finally,
"Oh wait, explain."
yeah. Well, he kind of almost did for me. And then I was like,
Sure.
yeah. So he's like, he's stoic. He's very just like he's always calm. He doesn't get too high or too low. He's just very like steady and even. Like
Yeah.
nothing, nothing bothers him. And so, which is
Unlike everybody else who's probably like, I'm going to be this crazy. I don't care about anything going on in the world. Nothing bothers me. And Adam's like, I'm just going to be calm, cool, and collected.
and here's the thing. That was total BS. It was I mean, it was a good thought, but I'm not going to be able to
Harness.
harness my Tim Duncan when I'm up there. I'm gonna be Adam
Harness,
Schmidt.
dude, you've got to harness the big fundamental.
I mean, that'd be great if I could, but I am going to just be I'm gonna be choking on my own heart. It's gonna it's just gonna be like, oh God.
Do you guys have a schedule when you go on?
No, we don't know when we're going on yet.
Like, is he going to
What
tell
order?
you guys?
Yeah, I'm
Oh, the day
probably
before,
the day
probably.
before. Or yeah, yeah.
So let's say everybody's about the same
That's the
amount of time.
those are the reactions I get to my jokes.
That's not gonna happen. That's a reaction you get when your kids stayed up till 3 o'clock in the morning last night and you got up at 6:30.
Yikes.
That's the reaction you get at 11:30 when that happens. Um, you've got, let's say, 8 people that go
Mhm.
on Saturday. Of those 8 people, their average time, let's say, is 7 minutes.
Okay.
That's a 56-minute show. It's an hour show. So we're thinking 3 to 4, probably.
Well, my instructor is going to do like another 15 or 20, I think, after
Okay.
that.
Okay. Is he promoting
So
the
he's
show?
kind of like ahead. Yeah,
Is
as a
he
matter of fact,
promoting the show? Is he using his stuff, is sending it out
I
to
should check.
everybody? I want to know. Is he promoting the show?
I should check on
Because it really kind of, I mean,
that. Yeah. Well, so if you go to the website to like buy tickets or see the schedule,
yeah. Is he the headliner?
his name and his face is on it.
Okay,
Yes,
so
it's
he's the head.
grad show with Tim Lulis. Yeah.
Let's be honest. Can we all be honest? Adam Schmidt on Saturday, January 11th, is opening for Sam Morril. You made it, brother.
Yeah.
You made it. You made it.
Thank you. Yeah, I made it to the big time.
I'm so, that's so cool. That is so cool.
Yeah, we'll get through it.
I'm excited for you, brother.
Thanks.
Anyway, please put the tickets. I know how it is, but put that
I
in,
will.
put it in there. It's your job right now, man.
Yeah.
It's your job. That's how,
It's
I
my
mean,
own-
every
the
comedian,
closest thing I have to a job. Yes.
every comedian has to do it. And at this moment in time, for the next week and a half, you're a damn comedian. All right? That's your job for the next week and a half.
I don't want to.
You need to go. You know what you should do is try to get a hold of like Bill Cunningham and see if you can go on Willie, maybe get on the Stooge report and and do a little thing. Just be like, hey, listen, here's what's going on. Here's the
Talk
link.
to that knucklehead.
No, of course not. But that would be even better. You want to promote the show. You talk to people you don't want to talk to. That's what you do. You ever seen
That's
comedians?
exactly what I did when I posted that on
Have you
Facebook.
seen comedians on radio shows and these local radio shows? They're all irritated to be there.
Oh, yeah.
Bill Burr hates every second of every radio show he has to go on,
Absolutely.
every second of it, and he's hilarious on every one of them.
Yeah. Yeah.
I love you could go onto YouTube and find 7 hours of 1 to 3 minute clips of Bill Burr tearing up some local radio host.
Yeah. Yes. you're
Because
right.
they ask something stupid and they try to be funny when it's like, man, it's 8 a.m. People are driving to work.
Yeah. Yeah. Quit with your fart noises.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So excited, man. Very
Thanks.
excited.
Anyway, let me get to the real stuff here.
Just January 11th, Doors open at 2. Show starts at 3. Adam could go on anytime between 3 and 4. And Liberty Township Funny Bone. Tickets are in the they're not in the comments. They're in the whatever's underneath this thing.
Yeah, in the episode description.
This is it. You realize that we've got one more episode before we blow up as a podcast.
Well, I hope so.
What do I got to do to
that'd
get
be
you in a nosebleeds to wear a nosebleed sweatshirt? Can I get, if I've got sweatshirts, if I get a nosebleed sweatshirt made for you?
That was one of the lessons too.
Promote your podcast, promote yourself,
No.
or wear something bland?
Wear something bland.
You got to promote yourself. All these other people. That's all right. Don't worry about it. I'm going to be there with a flyer. He likes flyers. I have a flyer, Nosebleeds Podcast, featuring Adam Schmidt. Adam Schmidt, host of the Nosebleed host of the Nosebleeds Podcast, was here.
Co-host.
Not on Saturday. You're the host.
Let's get a like a professional producer that can edit this thing and make it look really good before we promote that.
What are you talking about? Dude, this is as good as any podcast that you see on. It sounds just as good as any podcast you listen to.
So
the clarity may not be perfect on the visual.
Because what we're using is a 15-year-old laptop. So yeah.
Well, if we get enough people to listen to this thing, maybe we can make enough money. Actually, you know what? In preparation for this show that you're going to be on in a week and a half, we will have another podcast before you go on there.
Mm-hmm.
And we will continue to promote on the podcast. But for next week, if I can figure out how to make it work, I've got a really, really nice camera that the baseball team, Jaeger's 12U now baseball team, purchased to record our games. It used to just be my phone up on the fence. Now it is a legit expensive camera.
Nice.
That links up, that you can like link up to Facebook and link up to your phone, link up to different things. If we can link it up to, all we got to do is figure out how to link it up to the computer, which has got to be easy. I can do it to my phone. I should be able to do it to a computer.
Yeah.
And if I can do it to my phone, we could probably use our phone to link up. Anyway, in preparation, much clearer video next week. So when people go to watch you, after I tell everybody there that you have a podcast for 7 years, a 7-year podcast.
Okay.
And they want to come see the Comedians Podcast. Everyone wants to see the Comedians Podcast.
I'm not a comedian.
Didn't we just talk about this? For the next week and a half, that's your job, bud. Part of a comedian's job, promote their podcast, promote their show. Oh, God, I'm so excited. Crack the head off of that.
I was
Santa
gonna say,
Claus,
we
will
do
you?
like a wishbone thing
Yeah,
here.
no, you just crack it off, and then I'll crack a piece off. Go ahead. Get in there. Sorry, I got you all goofed up. Yeah, get you. He took Santa's head. Oh, yeah, here. You want get some of that peanut butter back? No, get you some of that peanut butter back.
No, but no, I'm
He
good.
just broke off Santa's head, and half the peanut butter stayed.
But look at all the peanut butter. That's what I was hoping for.
Oh, that's too much. I gotta crack that in half.
This is gonna make me sick.
Yeah, me too. But that's why I'm just gonna. Okay, I'm doing that.
Oh God, it's already so good.
This is unbelievable. This might be one of the highest rated we've ever had.
Yeah.
All right. Santa Reese's, giant Santa Reese's. Adam, what do you think?
I feel like last year we did the small ones.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad we got to do the big one.
Me too.
Man, okay.
It is a lot of chocolate.
It is a lot of chocolate. It's more chocolate than I expected. Yeah, I guess this bottom part is pretty thick, but it's a lot of, it's a lot of peanut butter too.
That's a lot of peanut butter too.
Mm-hmm. It's, definitely more chocolate than like a big cup.
Mm-hmm.
So it tastes a little different, but in certain spots, and I'll tell you, if you took a bite like that and just pulled that off, whoa.
Leave the thick bottom, take off the top with a bunch of, I actually did that on one of my bites. See, That's all I have left is the bottom chocolate.
Right. Good move. Man, that's good.
All right. I think have we ever given a 10 out on Reese's?
Maybe. I don't know.
I feel like our median score is like 9.7
Mhm.
for most of what we eat.
I think you're right.
I think part of this is right about where you eat it at. What part you take a bite out of. 9. I'm gonna go with a 9.8. I'm going with a 9.8. 9.8. This thing's awesome.
I'm about right there.
I gotta get me some water.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I think I'll go. I think I'm going 9.7. I'm right there with you.
9.7.
9.7. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's good.
Yeah.
Great job. Thanks, Mary Witt.
Oh my God. Thank you so much.
Yeah. You gotta take the rest of that home with you. I just fingered it. I didn't eat it.
You got four other people in this house.
Nobody. No. The Reese's that stay down here. This is my Reese's down here, big dog. Nobody touches the stuff. It's its own little refrigerator in here. Until we get in here and start blowing hot air all over the place. All right. So I'm not gonna lie to you. As we were talking over the last week about all the stuff we would try to get into, whether it was Christmas or what it was, when Aaron told me about this, because I didn't know you were performing live. I had zero, like I knew you were taking this class and all that stuff. I had no idea there was a live show.
And I tell you like probably more than I tell anybody.
I know. I mean, well, that goes along with what we talked about when you came here. Anybody in our family, you're in our house more than any of our closest family. There's no one outside of the 5 people that live in this house that's here more than you.
That makes me feel good.
Yeah. So that being said, we see each other, we talk about a lot of stuff. And I had no idea there was a live event until my wife told me she saw it on Facebook. So I'm stoked about that, and I'm really stoked about this whole thing. But when I found out about it, I said to myself, there's nothing else that we're going to talk about on the podcast.
I was not expecting that. I keep forgetting about it. Like that's all I can think about. But then when I'm like around other people and I'm like, well, I got to think about other stuff. I just don't.
Well, and you're not pushing it out loud, right? You put it on Facebook for anybody. For a lot of people that don't post a lot on Facebook, you put something out there, you forget about it. It's like it's gone. No. People are looking at that bad boy constantly. Well, I hope so. I think the Nosebleeds is going to reshare it if the Nosebleeds podcast can figure out how to reshare
it. So what's funny is my instructor last week and a half ago, started following me on Instagram.
Okay.
But I don't think he follows me on Facebook. Facebook is where it got all the reaction.
Oh, okay. Did you post it on Instagram too?
The next day I posted it on Instagram, and
aren't they the same thing?
They're owned by the same company, yes.
Oh.
So it didn't get nearly as much because most of the people that follow me on Instagram follow me on Facebook. So they've already seen it and looked at it and said something if they want to.
Yeah.
So I'm sure that I'm pretty sure he started following me in order to check and make sure that I was doing that.
Yeah.
I don't think he would have followed me otherwise. And so, although he loves basketball and wrestling, pro wrestling. He's a pro wrestler, by the way. He is a pro wrestler and a comedian.
Shut the front door.
I'm telling you.
Did you know this before you took the class?
No. No.
Where does he pro wrestle?
And he likes basketball.
In
Virginia.
In Virginia.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so let's see this. So hit share. Okay, here we go. We can even write something on here under share. Okay, I'm feeling out. Look, I don't do a lot. Look, if anybody that follows the Nosebleeds podcast on the FaceTube knows that we don't do a lot on the FaceTube, but we're going to have to apparently start. I think we got an Instagram too that's never had a single post ever.
It's a good Instagram.
You know what the first post might be?
It might be this.
It just might.
Okay, figure it out then. Okay.
I figured out how to do it on the FaceTube. I can make it to the Insta Snap. All I gotta do is hit the copy button.
But I feel like it's harder to repost something on Instagram. I don't know. Maybe I'm just too dumb to know how to do it. But anyway, while you're doing that,
Yeah, go
I-
ahead, because I'm doing this. So
there
you're gonna have to do something for a minute because I type slow.
perfect time to do that right now.
I'm
Okay.
doing it on the
Well,
show. This is on the show. So when people see this and they go, "Oh my god, this is crazy," and then they listen to the podcast, they're gonna be like, "Oh, I saw the exact moment in time
yeah,
when he posted that."
yeah, which is very important.
You know,
Um,
our biggest, I think the biggest time in this podcast history was the period in time that we would go live on the FaceTube.
well,
I mean, just for straight views. I mean, because every time somebody just clicked on it for a second, that counted as a view.
yeah, but we never got more than like what 15 people watching at the same time or something like
Maybe at
that.
the
And then
same time, but
by the end of it, we
we
had
were getting
one.
150. We were getting 150
Were we?
views after a couple weeks. Yeah.
Oh, on the okay, yeah.
And people just kind of clicking by. I mean, all you gotta do is click on it once, and people go, "Is that Adam and Chris?" Geez, no, I'm good.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they're talking about the NBA. Nah, I'm good. Um,
Yeah, that's true.
so there was a story I told you I wanted to tell you like 3 weeks ago. Okay.
Yep.
And I wanted to tell you when we had Adam Baum was our last guest on a couple weeks ago. And I wanted to tell you then because we were talking Xavier basketball. And by the way, real quick, I saw so the Sean Miller podcast and um the the
The all in, yeah,
all in documentary
yeah,
series are on, as Adam said, on Fox 19 on certain
yes,
days.
yes.
So I happen to be flipping through this channel's yesterday, I think it was, and I see Sean Miller podcast. I'm like, holy cow! I've watched them all on YouTube, um, but I'm like, oh, I've never seen it like actually just on TV when it's on. So I flipped it on, and for so it's like an hour long show, and for the first 55 minutes, it was interrupted by coverage of the New Orleans attack,
Are you serious?
and so so I so I'm kind of just like watching that for a little bit, and then that ends, and the last like 5 minutes of the podcast was on, and I think this is their last. I think this is their last podcast that they just did.
Okay.
They had Romain Sato on.
No, that
Was that already passed?
yeah, they've already done
Was
that.
that a while ago?
Yeah,
It couldn't have been that long
it
ago.
could have been that long ago. I mean, it was the one where it was kind of breaking up the whole time.
See, I didn't even see any of that. It was fine when I was watching it,
Yeah,
but
it just the audio was a little off, right? Like they would
okay.
talk and there'd be a pause, and he would talk, and they couldn't get. So that was kind of messed
Yeah,
up.
he wasn't in studio with him, and that
Right.
was the big thing because I got to see the very last part when Sean Miller told him that they're retiring his jersey, and that was the coolest part. I was like, oh my god,
So
that's
I
so
didn't
cool.
watch that entire episode.
I at the
I watched
very
probably
end,
10 minutes of it.
at the very end, Sean
That's
Miller.
how he found out. He didn't know before that.
That's right. Sean Miller said, so we've been working for a long time, Romain, to get you into the studio. We wanted to fly you here.
Yeah.
And he had just gotten back the week before from wherever he's playing overseas. And he's won a bunch of championships.
Oh
And he's
God,
like
he's been
super,
MVP.
yeah.
He's been MVP of his leagues like four. If you listen to the beginning of that podcast when they introduce him, holy cow, he's a
They are
international phenomenon.
Yeah.
This dude's been on like in 14 years, he's been on like 12 all-star teams.
Yeah.
He's been MVP. He's won multiple championships. It's insane.
So yeah, so Sean Miller says, so I'm we couldn't get you here. It's okay, but we had to do it on Zoom, but we wanted to get you here because I can't believe I get to be the guy that tells you we are retiring the number 10 Romain Sato jersey at
So
Xavier. Oh my God, it was so awesome. And saw his real reaction to it, and he's like, oh my God, he like put his head in his
Oh,
hands. He's
so
like,
cool, dude.
oh
That is so
my
cool. I got to go back and watch the end of
yeah,
that
yeah,
now.
yeah. It's so cool. He's such a nice guy. He's like so I don't know. He's just a very lovable guy. Anyway, so anyway, I ended up seeing that, and I just threw that in there because I just mentioned the Sean Miller podcast. Anyway, I wanted to tell you especially this story when Adam was on because we were talking about Xavier basketball. So I'm helping coach a seventh grade B team at this school near where we live,
Okay.
and
Posted.
there is so By the way, it took me probably 30 to 40 minutes to post that original post.
Oh, sure.
Because
I
I
get that.
stood there, I
and
sat there
really
and
type
stared
it out,
at it
right? Yeah.
and changed it.
Mhm.
And I was like, I don't want to press in.
Mhm.
Anyway, so yeah, right
All
back
right,
on,
right
baby.
back to recording.
Excellent. But you didn't miss anything. You didn't miss anything.
This is the biggest podcast we ever had.
Well, the first part will be there.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be there.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
As long as the first part will be there, because that's the biggest podcast we've ever had.
I don't know about that, but anyway,
This is the craziest thing we've ever done on podcast. Watch part 1 of this episode to know
maybe
what
some
we're
of the
talking
biggest
about.
news on the.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the biggest, bud. It
Okay.
is. It's
All right.
really cool.
All right.
Super. All the shoulder pads and helmets that people have all been sharing for the last 15 years, basketball jerseys, everything else. So you're going in to go hand out jerseys.
That's right. So the coordinator's doing that, but we go into this room with them. And so the kids are all, getting their numbers. Oh, this is, Jimmy Butler. This is, Giannis or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, so this kid gets his jersey and he's like he got his uniform. He's kind of right by me and he's like putting his stuff in his backpack and everything or in his bag. And I see he got number 30.
Okay.
And I'm like, hey, number 30, that's cool. He's like, yeah, David West. I'm
How
like,
awesome is that, dude?
I'm like-
that's all.
I'm like, that's awesome.
Second time I've had cold chills today.
Just wait. I go, oh yeah, David. Oh, I like that, David West. I was like, what about this, Steph Curry? And he looks at me, serious face. No, David West.
What?
I know. I know.
My man.
You're a bigger Xavier fan than I am, but that made me
man.
so excited when he did
And
that.
that's a seventh grader.
He wasn't alive when
wasn't
David
alive.
West played.
That's me. So this is me when
Yeah.
I like growing up. I was enthralled with baseball. People that had retired before I ever even played. Most people had died before I was ever even born.
Yeah,
And I just loved the history of things.
absolutely.
I knew all about Steve Thomas and Anthony Hicks and all these guys at Xavier that played before I ever was around. I mean, I talk about Byron Larkin and Tyrone Hill and Derek Strong, and Derek Strong, like I saw him my whole life. It was like in the mid to late 80s. It was like 88. I was 5 years old. I don't remember that. I don't remember that
Mhm.
at all.
But you know the importance, the history, and what that
Yes.
meant to Xavier basketball.
Yes.
So this kid, that made me really excited.
awesome.
And I can't believe it took me this long to remember.
God, it's been weeks since you've been wanting to tell that story.
Yeah, Yep.
How cool is that? That's my new favorite kid on your team.
yeah.
Is he any good?
He's a great. He's not
He's
bad.
a great kid.
He's a great kid. He
Of
really
course he is. He's a Xavier fan.
He is. So this is funny too. So he's and so after that I see he's got Xavier jackets and stuff and then his dad always has a Xavier hoodie on and that kind of thing.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, okay, these guys are legit. So he's the only kid that got the coaches anything for Christmas. All right. Nobody had to.
Love
But
that.
it was nice.
Yep.
After one of our practices,
Little
he-
$15 Dunkin'
comes
gift
up-
card. That's what I got. I got one little girl got Coach Chris a little $15 Dunkin' gift card.
nice.
Best part of her present? Christmas card. I got to hang up with all my Christmas cards.
Hey, nice.
Okay,
So
keep going because I
I
got an even crazier story about her. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. So
Speaking of Xavier basketball,
so he gives me a gift card to Jersey Mike's.
perfect. All right, that's
So,
good.
About
I love a 13 original, the
Yeah, there you go.
Italian. Yeah.
So week and a half later or something like that, we have a game. All right. That same thing. We have a game. After the game, my dad calls me as I'm leaving and he's like, "Hey, you hungry? I want to get lunch or whatever." So we meet. We end up at Jersey Mike's. I'm
Okay.
like, "Oh, wait. I have a Jersey Mike's gift card. Let's just go there."
Yeah.
All right, cool. We go there. We get our stuff. I use the gift card.
Yep.
Very nice. We're sitting there at Jersey Mike's eating.
Oh boy, walked in.
Kid walks in with his mom. I'm like,
Hey, Thanks for lunch.
Yeah, that's exactly what I said. I said, hey, we got the gift card.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, cool. So anyway, so yes, he's a great kid. Great. There are 2 kids on our team that after every single practice and game come to the coaches and say thank you. He's one of the kids.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
impressive.
Every single time. Yep.
If
Yeah.
I didn't coach my son all the time, after hearing that, I would want him to. I would go tell him he needs to do that every time.
He's a
That's a
very
really
nice
cool
kid.
thing, man. That's
Yep.
really cool.
Not a bad player too.
But it's a Xavier fan, right? That's the thing. He's a Xavier
Oh,
fan.
yeah.
So I've got a little girl on my team. Got me the Dunkin' gift card. Gave me the card I just told you about. All that good stuff. The other
Dunkin's
day,
a good one, man.
so we're at the Seton Hall game. Okay. And I notice on the card, I see the family and I'm like, man, that dad looks familiar. Whatever. It's an Oak Hills dad. And I'm at the Xavier game. And early on, I'm hooting and hollering, doing my thing. There's no the student section's like almost empty. So I got to get a little extra, I'm jumping up, looking to high five anybody I can. There's 2 little boys behind me. So I can't remember who. I think it was Conwell hits a 3, or maybe it was Foster hits a 3 early.
Most
And I
likely
turn
Conwell.
around. I think it might have been Foster, but Conwell also hit like 3 right afterwards. And I turn around, like I give my dad 5 as I stand up because he just sits there and gives me 5 every time. He doesn't jump up with me. And I turn around, and these little dudes are all standing on their seat. And I'm like, yeah, and I give them 5. And I give the dad 5 next to him. And I'm like, I know that dad. That dad coached against an Oak Hills team that played after me. And when I saw that dad coaching, I looked at my wife and I said, I know that coach from somewhere. I don't remember who he was coaching. I couldn't tell you the team, but I remember going, I know that guy from somewhere. Like I've coached against him somewhere. Like it had to be baseball, something. I've seen him somewhere.
Yeah.
And I'm like, gosh, that's why. Okay. He's not going to remember. He doesn't know that I was at that basketball game, but I'm like, oh, okay, that's cool. And I like give him 5. And I turn around and people are like looking at me now because I'm the only one standing up giving people 5, throwing a 3 in the air, like a little kid throwing 3s in the air. And I just start air 5ing people. And couple people next to us, this mom stands up. I will not let you give an air 5, and gives me a 5 across my dad and her husband. And then the guy behind her stands up. So he's 3 seats away, a row behind, stands up, looks me dead in the eye with this like kind of shit-eating grin, leans over everybody and gives me 5. And I'm like, yeah. And I look at him, I was like, Nora's dad? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh my God, how crazy is that? That's how I knew this dude the whole time. Nora's dad. So we talk, because we're always talking about Xavier when I talk to Nora, or her mom mostly, but her mom will be like, oh, you had to miss another game for practice today? And I'm like, yeah, I had to miss a game for practice. How does she know I'm missing the game? Like, I've never told these people I have season tickets.
Oh.
I probably didn't need to because her husband sits behind me at all the Xavier games and knows that I'm there. So now I know Nora's dad sits behind me. So, but once again, good kid, brought me a card and that, right?
Very nice.
Also Christmas, the game before Christmas, brought cookies for all the little girls.
Oh.
Dude, just saying, good kids, usually Xavier fans.
Yeah. So speaking of bringing cookies, that same kid's mom tonight after our game came over and was handing out Christmas tree cakes there.
Let's
She's like, you want one, coach? I'm like,
yeah. Yes, I do.
I better not, but sure, I guess. Yes, I would like one. We even had a little I'm like, I've had 1,000 of these in the last 2 months. She's like, I know. That's why I'm giving them away because we got a bunch of them at home. I'm just gonna eat them all. Anyway,
that's awesome.
yes,
Awesome.
That's part of what makes coaching so fun. The
It
good
is.
kids, from
It
good
is.
families,
It
and
is.
stuff.
It really is. That's no joke. And those are people that you'll remember forever.
Yeah, for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So cool, man. God, just looked right at you. No, not Steph Curry, homeboy. This is David West. Even my son would have said Steph Curry.
I'm like, oh, I love this.
So awesome. I hope you're a big guy. I've used David West in practice. I was like, you guys may not know David West, but I'm going to tell you right now. I listened to the guy talk one time, and every time a shot comes up from the left side, the reason he has more rebounds than anybody in Xavier history is because he saw a shot go up, and he shot over to the right side to box somebody out because 80% of the missed shots are going to bounce off, whether it's front rim, middle iron, back rim. They're going to come to the opposite side. So the backside rebound is going to be there. And I bet he had 800 of his 2,000 points off backside rebounds that he put up real easy. And I'm trying to like talk about David West like he's one of the greatest. Oh, is he in the Hall of Fame? I'm like, no, but he should be because he made Chris Paul who Chris Paul is today.
He's in the Xavier Hall of Fame.
He's in the Xavier Hall of Fame, but he made Chris Paul who Chris Paul is today. Chris Paul would have never got almost traded to LA if he didn't have all those assists to the other all-star on that team, Mr. David West.
There was just a graphic recently because he passed, I think the third guy. I think he's maybe number 2 now. He's number 2 or number 3 now. He just passed somebody on the all-time assist list.
Yeah.
And it showed the graphic, the players that he's had the most assists.
Was David West number 1?
He was number 2, I think. I want to say Blake Griffin was first because he played a long time.
Man, that L in the lob, all the lobs.
And DeAndre Jordan was like 5th.
I was going to say, yeah, between those two, that was
JJ Redick was 3, I think.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
really?
Well, because he played. Yeah, I mean, they played with the Clippers. I guess they would have been all with the Clippers. I'm trying to think. It feels like they played somewhere else.
He played like 10 years with the Clippers.
Yeah,
and he also played like I feel like he played 7 or more years with Charlotte.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, yeah, that's cool. That's awesome, man. That's cool.
Yeah.
David West was, I mean, I've listened to so many NBA people talking on podcasts, and like every now and then you'll hear the name David West, and the utmost respect comes out.
Absolutely. He was a very good player.
I was just listening to, who was it? Oh, you know what it was? It was one of the Sean Miller podcasts. And it was the one with Stan Van Gundy. That's what it was.
Oh.
And Van Gundy starts talking about David West and Brian Grant, and they never brought up Aaron Williams, but Aaron Williams could have been put in that the way they played.
100%.
Well, first off, Brian Grant was not Brian. Yeah, Brian Grant was like a, rugged, not rugged, but he was your down and dirty, do all the stuff nobody wanted to do.
Lunch pail guy, yeah.
David West was a straight baller. Like he would do that, but he was also a scorer, a prolific scorer. But like Aaron Williams, and he was just talking about big guys that have come out of Xavier and stuff. And I was like, that's Brian Grant, that's David West, and there's been a couple of them. Anyway, not like Kentucky where you have an entire team that's filled with them now. I think, what do you got? You got Malik Monk. You've got who's all on Sacramento now?
Oh yeah,
you got Monk. You've got who's their main guy? De'Aaron Fox.
Yeah.
There's like 4 of them. There's like 4 Kentucky guys on that team.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, besides the point. Let's move on.
Yeah,
great kid, by the way. Off the podcast, I want to know what his name is.
Okay.
And I bet if I looked his dad up, I've seen his dad at a game before. I feel like there's a lot of people that I see on the West Side, and I see him at a Xavier game. Oh, man, that dude looks familiar. I bet I know. Yeah, there's not a lot of West Side Xavier people. There's more now than there ever was.
Yeah,
but like that was a Norwood, East Side, North Side, East and North were Xavier. There was no West Side Xavier people.
Yeah, you're right.
Very few. So whenever I see one, I usually not know who they are, but recognize them from seeing them at a game somewhere.
Sure.
Anyway, see the same people over and over. Let's talk about how I did not watch anything to help us with the Mount Rushmore. The Mount Rushmore.
It's just, you were saying beforehand.
It wasn't enough. I before you got to the house, I jumped on and tried to hit a few like best of videos, and that's not the way to go.
This was one. I'll tell you, I probably spent at least an hour and a half the other day watching all of the. I think I watched every single interview that Between Two Ferns ever did, including the ones in the movie.
So the movie, is that the one with that had like McConaughey and it had David Letterman? That because I saw one that was just the best of that of the movie.
Yeah, they had a bunch of them in the movie. Yeah,
I've seen parts of Jennifer Lawrence, and I thought that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. And then I started going back and watching some of these other ones, and I'm like, this is Matthew McConaughey, and the water and all that stuff.
Yeah,
it's pretty funny.
Yeah.
So the fact that I know I'm missing so much, I want to do this justice. and I want to go back and do it next week.
Matthew McConaughey one is one of my favorites. Like I found myself saying, "This is one of my favorite ones," just because this joke is so funny, and it's really all Zach. He's just anyway. He like the first thing he said, and he's so deadpan. He's so serious, straight faced, and he's like, "I noticed you were wearing a shirt.
Sure, wearing a shirt.
Is everything
Is
okay?"
everything okay? It's so good.
That made me laugh so much.
Hillary Clinton. He goes, hold on a second. We have to have a word from our sponsor. And hits the little button. And it's a Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's how much is written for the other people, do you think? How much is written for him, and how much do they say just react like you're mad at him?
I feel like they probably know the questions ahead of time so they can think about something, but I'll bet it's not like completely scripted. I bet they just know
You
like
think there is
this
some
is what I'm
riffs?
gonna- yeah, I think so. I think there's some stuff though that they're like,
Or do you
I'm
think
gonna
they
ask
come
this
back to
question
you
and
and
you
you
say
think they
this.
go back to Zach and go, well, what if I say this?
Yeah.
And then you say, now I got this.
I think there's some
Like
of
with the
that.
Jennifer Lawrence one, I just remember it was like something, and then it was about eating and this and it like went like bam, 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 and I was like, oh, that was awesome.
Yeah. Yes, I can start going on and on about all the ones that I liked.
I only
We'll save
I
that.
just
We'll
saw a
save
few little tiny jokes.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I literally watched about 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes, probably 15 minutes of like one-liners from just picked out of different parts.
Did you watch the Jerry Seinfeld one by any chance?
Not at all. Have
right.
not seen any of it.
have to watch that
So
one.
very excited that would be pretty good.
The Will Ferrell one was one of my favorites. For sure.
So this is Will Ferrell. Like Zach Galifianakis, what Zach Galifianakis does with this, I feel like the only person that would do this kind of thing justice would be Will Ferrell. I feel
I
like
agree
Will
with that.
Ferrell could do this exact same thing and it would be phenomenal. He could do it as himself, or he could do it as whatever the Anchorman's name is. I can't remember his name.
No,
Ron Burgundy. Yeah, he could do it as Ron Burgundy. He did.
Yeah.
I mean, he had the Ron Burgundy podcast there for a while. I don't know if he
Mhm.
still does that or not, but
No.
it was huge when it came out, and
Uh-huh.
he just did Ron Burgundy, and it's phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I feel like he could easily do Ron Burgundy in this, or be himself. And the only person I can even remotely think of that would be as good as Zach Galifianakis.
I agree with that. I think you're totally right.
So anyway, we'll go back to that. So let's get to the very last segment of the day because we have been on here for a while still, even though we didn't do it. Jamie Foxx. We did the Jamie Foxx Netflix special. What was it called? Hold on, we'll pull it up. Yeah, it'd probably take me longer to pull it up than you to look at it, but we'll test each other's quickness.
It was Jamie Foxx.
I had a
was
stroke.
Called What Had Happened Was.
Oh, what had happened was, yeah, that's because he did say that one time.
Yes.
And when he said it, I even said, oh, what had happened was. I like when people say that. All right, so Jamie Foxx. Let's talk about Jamie Foxx.
Jim Fox. Jimmy Fox. Yeah. Speaking of old baseball.
Jamie Foxx. You know what's funny? Parker does this thing because on his phone, he has screen time. These tangents are so ridiculous on this podcast. Parker has screen time on his phone. He doesn't have screen time on text. He doesn't have screen time on phone calls. Like he can do those anytime, whether he's out of time or not. The only other app that I allow 24/7 is the MLB app.
Nice. Very nice.
And it has a game on there. It's like it's like 9 little squares, right? 3 across top, 3 on the side, and you got to match them up, right? So it might say 300 home runs, played third base. You only had to play third base one game in your whole life. And the lower the percentage of people have guessed your person that you guessed, the higher your score is. And there's 9 tiles, you get 11 guesses. So you can miss 2 and still fill it. So every time we do this stupid thing, he always goes, Dad, is that Jimmy Foxx? Should I put Jimmy Foxx in here? No, Jimmy Foxx ain't gonna fit there, bud.
That's funny.
So because I give him a bunch of old names to try to help him really do well with it.
My cousin Jared loves doing those too. He's a big baseball guy.
Yeah.
I would love to see you two do those together.
The thing that sucks about him is they do a ton of like played for the Brewers and the Blue Jays, and you're like, I mean,
So hard. I've tried them a few times.
I know a billion people, but I don't know this off the top of my like. I gotta really, really think because everybody you know is the best players for something, and a lot of those people don't go to them all. But anyway,
Paul Molitor is the answer to that. But anyway,
exactly. No, that's I only think of that because I actually got that one yesterday. It's the only reason I think of that. But it's like, come on.
Yeah,
Anyway,
very high.
so I don't even know where that came from. Where did that come
Jimmy
from?
Foxx.
Jimmy Fox. You said Jimmy Fox.
So Jamie Foxx is
Jamie Foxx. I'll tell you this. Um, I didn't know what this was going to be. Obviously, he had a stroke. You know, you hear people talking about he had a stroke after they came out with this, and a lot of stuff was said during that little time that something had happened to him. And I'm not going to lie to you, but I teared up a few times
sure.
watching this special.
Yeah.
Like, I know I'm always like, all right, it's a comedy special. Quit. Don't do this stuff.
Yeah.
Dude, like for him, I'm like, this was powerful
Yeah.
and still funny. He had some good funny stuff in there. But this was really just kind of like him being able. I don't know if this was a comedy special. I think this was Jimmy Fox.
Sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. That's my fault 100%.
I'm gonna do it forever now. It's just like Steve Nash, Kevin Nash. I'm gonna call Steve Nash Kevin Nash for the rest of my life.
Steve Nash and Scott Hall. What a tag team.
I think this was an opportunity for Jamie Foxx to come out and have a platform to feel grateful for his life. And also let everybody know the reason he's so grateful for his life and what got him through it was if I can be funny, I can stay alive, or whatever he kept saying.
Yeah, that is what he kept saying. Yeah.
So this is a hard one for me to grade.
Yeah.
I'm watching this and it got to the end and I was like, this is a 4.1. I'm going 4.1. Like this was profound for me. I was locked in, super locked in, like teared up a couple times. Like this is really, really good. And I stopped myself afterwards. It was like, I want to say it was like an hour after I watched it. And I was like, but how is the comedy?
Mm-hmm.
How was the comedy in the special? Because his comedy for this special was basically his impressions. And I don't feel like they were the best of his impressions. I feel like I've heard him do way better impressions in my life.
Yeah, I agree.
Way better. I feel, I mean, in the very beginning, his Cat Williams was decent. Sometimes you got to kill it. When he started it, it was good. Overplayed the Cat Williams. Stop, because now you don't sound like him anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Jay-Z, the Jay-Z died
good.
early. Like,
Yeah.
maybe you used to be good at that, old boy, but whatever happened up in that brain bleed, your Jay-Z ain't as good as it used to be. Again, love this. This is just stupid critiques because this is what we do, right? Jamie Foxx is amazing. This special was insane. Like I said, it was powerful to me. It teared me up. But if I gotta talk about it, I don't care if somebody would tell me with it. But yeah, Jay-Z wasn't that great. You know what I mean? And his Dave Chappelle is usually pretty good. Dave Chappelle's pretty good.
Yep.
I've heard him do Dave Chappelle so many times on different things. He's pretty good at that. Wesley Snipes was terrible when he did New Jack City and did that whole thing. I didn't think it sounded like Wesley Snipes at all. It's outside of the fact that he was just quoting it word for word.
Yeah.
But anyway, he had like the he had those things down really well. But or like the Jay-Z, or I can't even do it. Anyway, this is hard for me because I am torn. I want to stay around that number though. So I think I'm gonna keep it high because I want everybody to watch this. I think this is a really good special. I think if you like Jamie Foxx, and Jamie Foxx is one of the most talented human beings you will ever see in your life.
Yep.
His daughter is very talented. He can do so many things. He can sing, he can dance, he can play the piano, he can make you laugh with his stupidness, silliness, not stupidness, silliness. That's not the right word. Silliness. He's incredible at what he does as an entertainer. Incredible. And this was kind of a cool little thing that he got to do. I don't know that this is at the top of my comedy. I don't know that he's one of my favorite comedians, or if I give this a big number, that means that all of a sudden this is a great comedy special.
Mm-hmm.
But you know what? I don't care. I'll knock it down a little.
Okay.
I'll go from a 4-1 to a 3-9.
Okay.
But I'm gonna stay. I want to get it up around that, like 3. We always say if it's around a 3, watch it. It's gonna be good. 4, like that 4 number is, but this is good.
That's really
Good.
good,
This is
yeah.
really good. I'm gonna give it 3.9. I think I want everybody to go watch it.
Okay.
I think this is really cool. It hit me, man. It really did. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Oh yeah. Yeah, when his younger daughter came out and played the guitar and all that, that was big. Yeah.
For me, it started when his oldest daughter came out. And the
like,
way
very
she
first?
introduced him,
Yeah.
I got cold chills. You could tell the
I was distracted
excitement.
by how attractive she is, but
I get that. I get that. I get that. Trust me, I get that. But the enthusiasm that she had as she got to do that introduction for her dad
oh yeah.
after everything that they had all been through,
Oh, yeah.
you could feel how important that was and how big that was.
Yes.
And from that, I was like tearing up right there because you heard the stories, everything that went down. And I'm like, you can just hear it in her voice. And it never ended. Like my man he was struggling.
He was
struggling,
He was.
but he made it.
Yeah,
Because you know why he made it?
because he
No.
oh,
Because all the time, God
is
is good. And God is good all the time.
All right. Uh so yeah, I agree with a lot of that. And I'll tell you I had the same trouble. So I mean I gave it 2 grades basically. Because
Okay.
like an overall and a funny.
Okay, then can I give it an overall, like a 4 point? What did I say? 4-1? I got to stick with that, don't I? Because I would go even higher. I give it a 4-4 overall.
4-4 overall.
But I would give it like a 3-1. Funny.
Okay. Do you want to go 3-1 and 4-4, or do you want to just stay 3-9?
No, I'll stay at 3-9.
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'll you already saw it, I think.
I only saw one.
Okay. So yeah, so I was torn in a lot of ways here. It was obviously I didn't expect this.
Oh, no.
Absolutely.
I didn't either. Which drew me in even more because I was just kind of watching this on the side while I was like folding laundry and messing around, and I stopped and I was like, "Oh, this is like legit real. This is something I want to watch."
Yeah. So he had, especially at first and several times throughout the thing, he had. I mean, he was kind of emotional through the entire thing.
Yeah.
And there were a lot of really, really long pauses.
Yep.
Where he was trying to collect himself.
You can see his lip quivering, and you can see his foot shaking, and you can see like he was. This wasn't planned to be that. Maybe it was planned, but it wasn't. This was legit. I think that was all real. Do you think it was all real?
The cynic in me had some moments where I was like,
When his daughter was playing the guitar, I felt like, okay, some of this is a little.
Yeah,
When he's like, play it on the Annalie, so
Yeah,
do it,
yeah,
Annalie, and he was doing all that.
yeah,
That didn't feel.
Yeah.
That just felt like that was
Black Funeral.
Yeah. Baptist, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but there was
Yeah.
some of it where I really did like it was. You don't get that kind of quiver without. Nobody can make their lip do that.
This was obviously very, very important to him, very emotional for him. Probably for some people, I think that could have taken them out of it. Like if they got on there to watch a comedy special, and it's just a big let's just reflect with me. I'll tell you the thing that bothered me like pretty quickly was Atlanta saved my life. And then he said it about, I don't know, 15 times. And then the crowd was all saying it
Coming back,
every time there was
Yeah.
I was like, okay, stop saying that. Atlanta didn't save anybody's life. You were in Atlanta. That's great.
Yeah.
The city of Atlanta didn't save your life.
But you got
stop saying that.
I get that, but you got to understand that is for a lot of people, like the love and support that he felt in that community at that time.
Sure.
He felt like that was something that pushed him on.
And yes, I totally get that. It just feels like that's not a thing to like hit so hard that you repeat it so many times. Like,
I got you.
okay,
I got you.
let's. You don't have to say it that many times because now it's
Well, then there was just one lady that kept saying it,
yeah,
and then he would repeat her
yeah,
because she's the one that kept saying it when there was a pause.
yeah. So, and that'll bring me to something else here. The the comedy, some of the comedy like towards the end was his own. He had a lot of music in it, which
Yep.
he's always had
He's
that
a
kind of
very
stuff.
musical guy. Yeah.
Very musical guy. He had, some of there were just like breaks in there where it was just it was Def Jam comedy.
Okay.
And it was like it almost felt like, has he not done stand up since like early Def Jam days?
Probably.
Because it was like he would make some like very cultural reference and then some music would come on and he'd do some dance and
Mhm.
everybody's up and dancing, and like that was a big part of the Def Jam stuff, and that happened like a few times, and I'm like, okay, this isn't really like
Yeah.
comedy, it's just like a fun thing for the crowd.
Sure.
So anyway, um and it did, there were a lot of things, like I said, some of the times it was like, okay, is he making this a little bit more dramatic for effect? But there were plenty of parts that it was like, okay, yeah, I can see this is really, he's really struggling talking about this, or this means so much to him to get out on a stage in front of all these people and have all this love and everything. He also had things that we've talked about a lot, and I know it really bothers you, where he talks about, I'm Jamie Foxx. This can't happen to me. I'm Jamie Foxx.
So here's the deal. Normally that irritates me.
Right.
I love that this whole thing was about, hey, you've got to get rid of that. Like that was a big part of it, was like you got to leave that Jamie Foxx alone, and you've
Eventually,
got to. That's
somebody else had to tell him that.
no, I know, but that was the best. I love that when Holly
Yeah.
came in. I'm MF and Holly, man. Like that was, but that was one of those things. Once again, he was able to turn that into something.
Mhm.
It wasn't just this don't happen to me. I'm Jamie, because I think he might have been there. Or not might have. He was there.
He definitely was there.
He was there.
I feel like he was still there, to be honest. He did do that. He did say, like, she told me, you gotta let that ego stuff go, and you gotta let me do my thing.
Yeah.
You gotta let me have the ego or
Mhm.
whatever. Um but just there were just enough of those kinds of things that it kind of brought me down, and I love the touching stuff when it felt sincere,
Yeah.
and I loved some of he did some things that were funny, and some things that were supposed to be funny that just weren't all that funny, and so it was tough.
I think I must have just been hit by how much I was moved.
Yeah, and I at first I was like, okay, when he started with that stuff, and he immediately starts crying and everything, and I'm like, okay, wow, this is okay, wow, this is a big thing. You can see, and then I kind of thought, well, he'll go into a set then, eventually.
That's kind of how I felt too, but
And
it
he
never
never
happened.
really got into a set. It jumped around a lot of different
Yeah.
places,
Yeah.
and it was more like a variety show or like a one man show or something like that. And so it just was. I was thinking that he would do more pure stand up. But I appreciate how big a moment that was for him to get on that stage, what it meant to him. He basically died and came back,
Mhm.
and that was like, and he struggled for a long time. Thought he wouldn't walk again for a little bit, but maybe not even talk again. Like, you know, had all these big things go on, and and it was just a really really scary time for him and his family, and now he's kind of on the other side of it, and he's you know he's back, and he's able to entertain again and act and be a comedian and be a singer and all that, and that's great. I love that because
Yep.
I'm a huge Jamie Foxx fan, and Jimmy Foxx, big fan of both.
Gotta love them both.
I don't know much about Jimmy Foxx, just that he's a Hall of Fame baseball player, but I didn't really live at that time.
Well, probably one of the top 15 players to ever play the game.
Okay. All right.
For a generational guy, like he was one of the top two people to ever play in his generation.
Oh, there you go. There you go. Okay.
He was
So-
the Ken Griffey Jr. of his generation.
Wow. That's big time.
Mhm.
That's big time.
Willie Mays of his generation.
Is for funny 2.3.
Oof. Okay.
So because of the 2.3 and the, 4 or more of how much I could appreciate how special it was for him.
Mm-hmm.
That's over a 4.
Yeah.
So I landed on about a 3.
Okay. There ain't nothing wrong with that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I look, here's
I hoped it was way funnier than that. But
I agree.
it just ended up being a different thing.
It was different. So we've watched things where it was like, this isn't comedy. The Patrice O'Neal thing, we both kind of gave that a pretty good score.
Mm-hmm.
The musical that you made me watch. I
Oh hello.
Oh hello.
Oh hello on
That was
Broadway.
that was different, right? Like
you did not care for that.
you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
yeah, like when we get these comedy specials, quote unquote specials that just aren't specials,
Yeah.
they can go drastically different ways.
We've definitely had
And
plenty of
that's
those.
I would put this in that because
Yeah.
this is not just you're not watching Jamie Foxx do stand up. This is not stand up special. Preface everything or post this or whatever the word is.
Post this, I think.
Post this.
I think you were right.
This
That sounds right.
this is not a comedy special. This is a dude telling a story, big dog. This is a story time.
Yeah,
This
it is.
story time.
It is.
Story time with Jamie Foxx. And it just so happens that Jamie Foxx is a funny guy.
Yeah.
So it feels like a comedy special mixed in. Post this. We're not prefacing because we would have done that an hour and a half, 2.5 hours ago. That would have been the preface.
We're prefacing it for anybody who watches it after they see
Okay,
this. Yes,
okay,
talk about
okay,
this.
okay,
I think you're right.
I feel like I would say I'll preface this with when I first started talking about this, though. Not 30 minutes later. Anyway, all right. So that that's not bad. That's not terrible. We're right in there. All right.
If you
So
like Jamie Foxx, you're not wasting your time. Watching.
no, not at all. If you're a Jamie Foxx fan, this is I would suggest anybody to watch this. You would suggest anybody to watch Oh Hello. Some people just ain't gonna like it. I wouldn't. I didn't like it.
Mhm.
I would suggest everybody to watch this Jamie Foxx special. Some people aren't gonna like it. It's not a comedy special, right? It's just something a little different.
Yeah,
it is, but it isn't.
it is.
It is, but it isn't.
It is, but it is.
Oh Hello was not a comedy special.
No, it wasn't a stand-up special for sure. It was a Broadway show. That's what it was.
And the Patrice O'Neal thing was not either. That was like a documentary on his life or whatever it was.
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
I don't even really remember what that was.
He had
that
like
we-
home videos and stuff about him in it.
Oh.
You remember watching that?
We watched.
It was right after he died.
Oh, we watched Elephant in the Room too. His like special before that.
Yeah, we watched that, but
I-
that's not the same thing.
I forgot that we watched like a whatever
maybe
documentary.
maybe I'm
preview.
losing my mind and maybe I watched it and I was just thinking about it.
We might have.
Either way. All right. So that brings us to next week. Nice and easy. We've got Between Two Ferns. Guess. Still gonna be very difficult. Might be one of our best ones yet. We're gonna need a lot of time for that. Now that I've watched a few,
Yeah,
we're gonna need a lot of time.
we could talk about a lot of them. Yeah,
And then you've got comedy or I got comedy.
you have comedy.
I have comedy.
Yes.
There's
I
a
think this is going to be easy.
we've missed a few that have come out, but it's pretty obvious with who we are and what we talk about on this podcast all the time. Man, there is a few other ones out though too. Ronnie Chang's got a new one.
Yep.
Michelle Buteau's got a new one.
Mhm.
Jeez, Pete's, and that's just on Netflix. And then there's a new Torching, 2024,
Oh
a
yeah.
roast of the year. I don't even like he. So is that just what's his name, roasting 2024, or is it
It's
multiple comedians?
multiple comedians. Yeah, but Jeff Ross is the host.
Oh, Sam Morrill's there. You'll see him here in a couple weeks when you open for him.
Yeah.
Oh, and then
Maybe he'll open for me. Maybe it'll.
the guy from Kill Tony that dresses up like Joe Biden will be there. Anyway, besides the point. No, this is easy. We're doing Nate Bargatze, your friend Nate Bargatze, for next week.
Nice and easy, like you said.
It's like Sunday morning.
Easy like Sunday morning.
See, like Sunday morning. So, between two ferns, we're back on track. Between two ferns, and
Nate.
your friend Nate Bargatze.
Right.
Super stoked about that because I saw him. I feel like we saw him in between specials. We might have a little bit of this. Did you see it yet? Because some of what we watched, was in the special that had just came out on Netflix, like the golfing and all that stuff. That was the tea time with your wife and all that. That was on the special that had came out right before it. But I bet there's got to be some stuff from that might have been in this. Maybe not.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
We shall find out.
I mean, we shall find out.
You've already seen it. Good
I
for
have
you.
already seen it.
I know you. There's some things it's hard. You just
a lot
can't.
Of time during Christmas time. I came out. I was like, well, I gotta watch Nate right away.
Hey, come on, man. It's Nate. It's Nate. I ever tell you that there's a kid on the baseball team whose dad is a magician and knows Nate Bargatze's dad?
Really?
Yeah, from I guess the magician circuit. I don't know.
I went to high school with a guy who's been a magician for a long time now.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's weird because there's a guy that's a magician at does magic tricks at the big what's that thing called? Weber Farms or whatever. It's a big pumpkin festival right off Campbell Road over in Harrison. Huge festival. It's like 3-day festival, and he's there all 3 days. And Aaron, we walk into these people Aaron used to work with, walk into his house, and old boy's there. And I'm like, you're the magic trick guy. He's like, oh, geez. And I'm like, no. I'm not going to ask you to do any magic. Trust me, I could care less.
You're like, I just how my cousin feels about people talking to him about
but you make a good, but he makes a good little side living off of that. And he's very confident, and he's got a few little jokes that he throws into. Anyway, besides,
did he pull any flags out of his throat?
No,
that's a shame.
No, but he can make a pear disappear.
A pear is one of the hardest fruits to make disappear.
100%.
I got to tell you,
I totally agree. Totally agree.
So this guy's good.
Oh, he's good.
Okay.
Oh, he's good.
That sounds like it.
I don't even think it's sleight of hand. I think it's real magic.
He's making it disappear.
Yeah,
because a pear, I mean, you either have to make it disappear or
there's no sleight of hand with a pear.
That's why it's so hard.
That's why it's so difficult.
Yeah. Wow.
Anyway, all right. So,
hopefully we're gonna have Andre Edwards on pretty soon because there's 1 week left in the regular season for the Bengals, and
they can make the playoffs.
Remind me, they could still make the playoffs. There's still a lot that has to happen.
There's not a lot. 2 things have to happen. The Dolphins have to lose, and the Broncos have to lose. Oh, sorry.
Well,
and the Bengals have to win.
And the Bengals have to win. And the Broncos are playing the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have already said they're not.
I'm sorry. Has Carson Wentz not won a Super Bowl?
Carson Wentz.
I'm sorry. Has Carson Wentz not won a Super Bowl?
He could be the best backup quarterback.
I'm sorry. Is Bo Nix still a rookie? Oh, I'm sorry. Is Carson Wentz still a Super Bowl quarterback, winning quarterback?
He is. They could still beat him.
But it's the NFL. It's the NFL. I've seen the Broncos lose the worst. Last week. Sorry, I'm just kidding.
No. Remind me, our bet with Andre, is it number 1 closest record, or is it most correct picks?
No. Number 1 is closest record.
Okay.
Number 1, you've already won that.
And you've already lost it. I hate to say it.
Yeah, but isn't there some way that we would have had to go to most
you have
correct
more
wins?
You have more correct. Yeah, if the
is
record
it 2 tie all tie? Isn't it a 2 tie all tie after that? And then it goes to.
I'm still confused about what that is.
Like we both tied for second because we both lost, and there's only one loser. So
no, I think it's not. Nobody even wins. It's whoever loses. That's the only thing that matters.
It's 2 tie all tie. So it comes down to record, and Andre has to sing.
You weren't that far off because you had him at 15-2. and they are
I was not. Was
they're
I?
7-9.
No, I did not have them at 15
You had
and
them
3.
at 15.
I had them at 14 and 3.
No, you had them 15.
15 and 2.
Let me check.
No.
Yeah, 15 and 2.
Jesus.
You had them losing this week to Pittsburgh. I'll tell you that. And you had them losing to Baltimore at home the first time. And I'll tell you, you were right about that first loss.
And somehow I got
Could be right about this loss too, but
you
have more correct picks than he does.
do I have
more
more
correct
correct picks
picks.
than you? 1, 2,
We have
3,
the
4,
same.
5, 6, 7, 8. We have the same amount of correct
Yeah,
picks.
and we all got that win.
We have the
there, too.
same amount of correct picks, and I lost by a lot. You had them at 11 and 6. I had them at 15 and 2.
Yeah. None of us were close on record.
11 and 6 is going to be really close. You're going to be one win off. They're going to be 10 and 6, or they're going to be
No, they're
9 and 7.
Yeah.
They'll be 9 and 7.
Yeah, 9 and 8.
9 and 8.
Right?
No.
Yeah.
No, they'll be 10 and 7.
Will they be 10? They won't be 10 and 7.
Yeah, they will. Yeah, they're tied with the Broncos right now. I could be wrong. I don't know.
Either
Doesn't
way,
matter.
We're gonna have Andre on soon.
Yeah, because 10 wins would win it, and they've got to get to the 10th win. They're still at 9, and we'll be at 10. The only way we tie them. We tie them at 9 and 8.
Yeah.
And our tiebreaker is the win.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So still, you're 2 games off. That's close. That's closer than we were.
Well,
and you know what else has to happen on that episode?
I do. You have to purchase with your own money. That was
a
part of it.
A UC shirt and a UC hat.
That's right.
I'm in. I told him when we did the podcast that week, I said, look, I want you guys to win because I want this to be a rivalry again.
Now, since you lost that bet and Zach Freeman missed a 3-pointer that would have tied the game at the end.
Can we talk about the guy who stepped into the line as he shot his free throw and then admitted it afterwards and said it wasn't even close and never got called? And that would have been one less point for them. Plus, we would have had the ball.
We can talk about that if we can talk about how he should have been boxed out. But either way.
Well, it's impossible to box him out if he's jumping in the lane before anybody else. Oh, no. He's got to wait till the ball hits the rim. Everybody else has to wait for the release.
Yeah. So,
hey, listen, we're pinching at that moment in time. We're pinching because this is an important part of the game and we need a rebound. And we're expecting a good free throw shooter to make a free throw.
Well, then if you're expecting him to make it, why do you have to pinch? I mean,
I don't know. That's cool.
I was just wondering if you had, since Zach Fremantle did miss that last shot that would have tied the game, if you happened
same look that he had at the end of halftime too.
Yeah,
almost the same shot that he made at halftime.
Wide open look.
Yeah.
I just
didn't made at halftime.
Yeah, I just didn't know. Did you send him a death threat on Twitter or anything?
Oh, no, man. Nah, man. Normally I would say these are like 19, 20-year-old kids. Zach Fremantle's 27, but
he is 27. You're right.
But no. Like I said, some other years maybe, but not this year. This year I'm fine with it. I wanted UC to get one somewhere. I don't ever want them to win, but like it was getting rough.
Yeah.
Rough. Because if you lose that,
cancel the game.
If you lose that game at home, it's 2 more years before you get another chance because you're not beating us they've won 1 game at the Cintas Center since Cintas, or is it 2 at the Cintas since Cintas has been open?
I don't remember.
In like 20 years, they've won 2 games at the Cintas.
Mm-hmm.
They needed that. They needed that win.
Yeah.
They needed that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll let you and Andre discuss that, but yeah, you unfortunately will have to wear a.
I'm 6 rows behind the bench now.
Wow.
That's my new seats behind the visitors bench.
Wow.
Yeah. So here in a couple weeks, I'll be listening to I cannot wait to hear the cheering section go off on Hurley. But my thought process is I'll be right there to, hear all the hootenanny during the shootout. That's gonna be crazy. I couldn't even imagine being in those seats. If I was in those seats during the fight, I might have had a ball. When that ball got thrown off somebody's face and bounced up, I might have ended up catching it. I was that close.
Wow.
I saw Yancey Gates hit Kevin Fry. Steve Freeze, Kevin Freeze, Kevin Fry, Kevin Freeze. What's that kid's name? I don't even know. What is Freeze's name?
It's not David Freeze because
No.
he's a baseball player. Kenny Freeze.
Kenny. Big Kenny.
That was cool to see his episode of the Sean Miller podcast because I heard all kinds of crazy stories about him when he was at X.
Me too.
And he's like a mature actual adult now.
Yeah, that's good
So
because
it's-
I heard that he used to he could drink anybody under the table and he would like a fight never bothered him anywhere it was at. And
him and JP McCure, I heard a lot of stories about.
McCure got arrested for pulling his pants down at a bar. So
Yeah.
I mean, like that's not just a story, that's got evidence.
But that was the same thing too. He was on the podcast too a while ago, and he's like a grown man.
He's got a kid now,
kids.
and
Yeah.
he's got one kid, and I think she's pregnant with another one. He's playing overseas, so
Yeah.
I always like JP.
Yeah.
The guy you love to hate. All right, we got to get out of here.
Yeah.
All right. Nate Bargatze, Between Two Ferns. We'll see what happens with Andre Edwards. Congratulations, man. Next week, we are going to do this all over again and talk about comedy. So, very excited about the Funny Bone. And until next week, don't forget to turn your headlights on. Oh,
No.
this is great. Let's figure out how to turn this off. It's different than it normally is.
Yeah, you can maximize.
Shit. It's